Welcome to yet another Rocket Hub's exclusive webinar with our favorite deal partners. And today we have someone very special, our currently rockstar ongoing deal, MakeForms. And we have Pratik from MakeForms, who is the co-founder. Pratik is a serial entrepreneur. And if you don't know, their team is also behind the infamous web stories tool known as Make Stories, which is one of the best in the world for if you have to go and use the web stories in your Google and etc. You can see that. So thank you, Pratik, for joining in today and giving your precious time in the evening. I know it's kind of a dinner time for you, but thank you so much for doing it, and welcome once again to Rocket Hub.
Yeah, thanks, Karan. Thanks for the introduction. I'm still at my office because I really wanted to give this webinar my 100%, and office is where like I can be at my best without any distractions. So yeah, I'm super excited. The feedback and the love that we are receiving from the community is really overwhelming. So
Thank
yeah, sounds good.
you. Great, great. So amazing. So and let's hear from Pratik's journey, how we started and why he started Make Forms. That's one of the best reasons, right?
Mm,
What he saw inside the form industry that made him think that there's something missing. So we should begin with that. All right,
yeah.
Pratik, if you can kind of get people know about yourself and why you started Make Forms. We'll then dive right into the
Yeah,
software.
yeah, definitely. So, hey guys, I am Pratik, and I am founder of MakeForms and Make Stories. So, my first product, if you see my journey, I've been a freelancer web designer in 2008. From there, I started my own agency in 2012, and then ran the agency all the way till 2016, 17, and then in 2018 we started building Make Stories, and then we built Make Stories for quite some time until 2021, and then we saw that we since I used to run an agency, I have used all types of form builders like Google Forms, Typeform, Shortform, but like I found that at some point in time I was not able to kind of build a form that would like do what I want. And at that time I'd have to take the form builder, and like I'd have to go to my developer and say that, hey, we'll have to hand code this. And we've seen so many such issues and examples where we were like, okay, now we'll have to hand code this. And even if you see most of the form builders, they just like do a little. And like for me it was always about personalization. Like I really didn't like when the forms were hosted on the form creators domain. So we thought that if there is a company who is paying X amount, then there is no need for the branding to come in, because like once you've paid, once someone pays you, there's no need to show them your branding. And then we said that, okay, these are the things. Then one more thing that really was a little shocking for us is that most of the form builders never care about compliance and security. So the problem is that today, if I don't like to do any name calling, but some of the form builders, if you go and you ask for a HIPAA compliance, they would ask you to kind of go to the enterprise plans. Similarly, if you ask for SOC 2 or ISO, they would ask you to jump onto the enterprise plan. So for us, it was like today everyone is taking privacy and security so seriously. Then why should we not have compliances for everyone? Because everyone deserves the security and compliance. And so we thought that there are so many loopholes in the entire system. Like if you see today, if you want to have like a workspace, like a sub account where you can add your team, it's very difficult. Like they would ask you to kind of go for an higher level plan or an enterprise plan. And so there, all of these were so burning issues that we were like, no, if we built something like this, we think that, and I would say it was not an easy decision, because the team was really like worried that we are entering into a very crowded market. There are so many Goliaths out of there, and how we would compete them. So we said, let's do it, and let's not worry about selling. Let's build the best thing first. And so we built this. We started building it in January 2022, just when the new year came in. Our first MVP was ready by mid 2022, and then I think we went to Web Summit and Slush, and then I think Charlie saw my LinkedIn post about launching MakeForms on. So we did a soft launch in Web Summit, and we met some of the CXOs and CEOs, and they just loved what we were building. So then Charlie said that I'd like to do an LTD, but I was not sure that the platform was quite stable. So we took a decent time, and then we relaunched the MakeForms again in March 2023, and then now we are with Charlie. And I would say one last thing is that if you see the way the web has evolved since in the past 30 years, you can see the only way you can ever collect data is through forms. And if you see the form builders, if you see landing pages, they are awesome, they are beautiful. If you see emails, they are beautiful. If you see videos, they're amazing. But if you see forms, like 80% of the time, they kind of look very dated. And then you can only change some colors and things. And then there are some companies who just made beautiful forms very beautiful. We respect them, but then they made them very pricey. So it was like either you go with a dated form design, or else you just pay too much. And so there is no balance in the form industry, is something that we feel. And so we were like, if we are doing forms, then our forms are not going to look very simple. We are going to build many different types of templates. So even if you see today, then we have about roughly 15 to 16 templates. And like if you put in some efforts, then your form can look very different. You can host it on your own domain name. You can be assured about the security and privacy. So all of this is, I would say, summarizes of what our goal is at MakeForms.
That's pretty impressive. I think I think that purpose I've never seen in any form builder coming out, that this is why we want to build forms, and this is what shows your passion. And that's where we are. The product is being loved by everyone in the community. So thank you for building this. And yeah, again, let's now deep dive into the main meat, and let's show people the magic and why this is one of the best forms builder in the market right now.
Sure. So I'll quickly share my screen. Just give me 1 second.
Surely.
So you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
I'll just turn off these captions. Oh. So this is what you get when you log in. This is my account, which is already set up. So I would say the first level of separation that we allow our users to do is on the workspace level. So you can, kind of shift between multiple workspaces. So this is my second workspace. So I will be using this for our testing today. So if we see at the dashboard, number one, you can switch workspaces. Then there is something called as campaigns, to which I will come later. Export history is when you want to export your submissions into a CSV. It maintains a log of all those things. Then there is something called as fonts. So like many companies, like if you see the big publishers, because that is where I come from. When we worked with a lot of publishers at Make Stories, they all had their own fonts. So for many companies, font is very dear to them. and sometimes they have their custom fonts. So you can actually go in and you can set up your own font. The moment you do that, let's say we have a circular STD because that's my favorite font. So what you can do is you can literally upload a font file. Let me see if yeah. So let's say this is the font file that I have. So I can just upload it. And then the system automatically identifies what kind of a font it is. So this is an OTF font. So it is set up here. Now this is the circular STD bold. So I'll select this. So you can actually add multiple weights. So let's say today you want to have an extra lightweight or something like that. You can do that. So I'll not deep dive into this much because this is like pretty self-explanatory. You can just click on create, and then you have your font created here, and you can see that it shows you a live preview of how the font will look like. Then you have domains. So what you can do is, as I did say that your forms, whenever you publish them, they won't be on makeforms.io / something, but you can actually connect your own domain. So let's say today I want to create a domain saying collection.makeforms.io. Okay, so that is already linked to some, let's say we do rocket.makeforms.io, and I'll set it up. So what this does is that now I can literally publish my forms to my own domain. So that really personalizes the entire journey for me. Like I can, I don't even have to, my users who are filling the form, they don't even need to know what form tool I am using. So now this is a very simple CNAME DNS entry that you'll have to do. We won't do that now. Then there is something called as members. So in this place, you will basically add your team members. And then whenever we ask you to enable support, so what happens is that when you enable support, our team gets access to your account for 24 hours. And then after 24 hours, the support will automatically be removed. So this really helps us with debugging things. So you are always assured that MakeForms team is not seeing your data unless and until you do not give consent. And then whenever you add a user, so let's say I add this user and I send out an invitation, you can see that you have a full-blown access control list. So you can granularly decide like what particular access will you like to give. So let's say by default, we did not give access to sensitive data. So I'll come back to this topic later, wherein I'll just explain what exactly is sensitive data. But you can decide like this grid, what kind of privileges do you want to give the user. So I'm giving full access to this user right now, and I'm saving this. Then you have settings. These are basic things like your profile. You can set your time zone. Coming back to the branding, you can select your fonts for heading. So let's say I have my custom font, which was circular STD, which I just set a while ago. Or else we have all the different Google fonts that you can use. Then you can, by default, set up your logo, which will appear on the top of your form. Then you can also upload your favicon, and then you can set this branding as default. So the moment you turn on this default, all the forms that you create in the future will by default be having this kind of branding. Then coming back to CAPTCHA, this is important because let's say you are using a custom domain to safeguard you from spam and all those things. We ensure that there is CAPTCHA installed always on your forms. So you can either opt in for reCAPTCHA version 3, or you can have the latest reCAPTCHA. If you do not enter both of these, then we'll go in and we'll add the edge captcha from our end. Then here are the plans. I don't have an LTD. And then you have add-on. So here you have the mobile verification credits, which you can purchase. And then you have members, we saw that. Then here are the integrations. So you can connect to Airtable, you can connect to Brevo, which is Sendinblue, and then Notion, SendGrid, Zapier, and we also have an integration with Paddle, with Pabbly, which we are soon going to introduce here. And then at the bottom, you also have webhooks. So using webhooks, you can actually send the data to any third-party API or wherever you want to send them. Then the last tab is the invoices tab. Then there are workflows and vaults. We will explore this later. And then if you ever need any help, you can just click on Get Help. And so for the LTD users, we will be having an email support. So that will actually, kind of send you to our email address. So coming back to the forms, so the first level of segregation that you can do is on the workspace level. The second level of segregation that you can do is on a folder level. So you can organize your forms into folders. So let's say I would name this as Rocket Hub demo, and your folder is created here. So you can either create a folder first and then you can actually create a form, or when you create a form, you click and start from scratch. I would say webinar demo form. So here you can select the folder. If you think that you don't have a folder, you can create it on the fly. I would say demo folder 2, and I'll create this folder. It will be selected, and then I'll just go in and I'll create the form. So here is your builder. I would say this is pretty much inspired from what we built with MakeStories, because in the I feel always comfortable where like your editor screen is always divided into 3 different sections: the left bar, the canvas, and the right bar. Because this we have seen in our product journey that it really helps user when they can see things upfront, rather than hiding them and showing them. So right now, when you dive in on the Canvas section, you will see 3 different tabs. One is the welcome, the another one is the form itself, and the thank you screen. Because we feel these are the 3 sections of your form. So by default, you don't have a welcome screen. And you will see that as you change the tabs, the fields that are available changes. So now I'll just go ahead and I'll enable the welcome screen. So you can say, welcome to Rocket Hub webinar. And then you can decide, okay, I want to have some space between this. So you can add a spacer, and then you can just reduce the height, and you can take it maximum till 200 pixels. Then you can use these arrows to move them up or down. Then you can add a paragraph text. I'll just say, add this. Let's take a look at the form, and then you can just organize this. Like you can change the colors and everything. Then you can just select the font family that you want to have, and then so this is it. You can maybe add an image if you want to. Just use my AI generated image for now. Okay, and then if you want to change the width, you can just change them very easily. And then you can decide that you want to align it to the left, center, right. So all the settings happen always on the right. And then you can actually also add a layout. So let's say I want to put the image here, and then this here, I can do that. And then I can add a divider. You can also decide what kind of styling do you want to have for the divider, and you can change the color too. So I think this is all that with the welcome screen, and you can also add a CTA if you want to. And then what the CTA does is that you can just link it out to some external link. So let's say HTTPS. Let's send everyone to the Rocket Hub deal page. Oops. And then you can change the border radius. Let's say explore the deal. So this is not required right now. So I'm just going to delete this as we've seen the demo. And then at any step, what you can do is you can shift between the build tab and the design tab. So you will see that, and over here also you have 3 things like the welcome, form, and thank you. So now you can see that this is how our welcome screen looks like. So now I'll jump into the form. So I will just remove this subheader, and this is where the entire game changes. So here are all the different types of fields that you have. And the kind of like detailing we have done for each field, we'll just deep dive into right now. So I just drag drop the name field, and you can mark it as required using this tab. Now, Karan, if you know that most of the times whenever you want to add a name field, you want to have first name, middle name, last name. Then people would, like most of the form builders will ask you to add 3 different text boxes. What we've done is we've used a very common sense intelligence here. So you can have the name field as a single field, or you can just click on split field. The moment you do that, your fields are by default distributed into middle name, first name, and last name. And then you can decide that which one do you want to have by just turning them on or off. And let's say if you want to have the middle name present, but you don't want them to be required, then you can just turn it on and off. And then here again, you have the label alignment. So this is all very easy for you to actually do this. And now you will have a helper text. I would say enter your full name. And then you can also add validation to this. Repeater field is something we'll come back to this later. But this is something like exciting, which is mark as sensitive data. So the moment I mark a field as a sensitive, only people who have access to the sensitive data will be able to see this particular fields values. The rest of them will just have that as asterisk. And then you can mark the field as hidden, and you can also mark them as disabled. And let's say you just put in some default value. So you can like play with this whole thing where you have a default value for a certain field, and you also disable them. So the user can actually not change the values while filling up the form. Then this is something called one at a time form settings. I'm not going to deep dive into this because we actually have a completely different builder coming up. I can show you a quick glance later, wherein we are literally building one at a time form builder. So like if you are some form builder enthusiast, you know what I'm talking about. So but we have a template over here right now. It is somewhere down at the bottom. So if you want to have a form that looks like this, then and you want to have an image on the right, I'll just show it to you guys right away.
This looks better than what Typeform has. And one, like I hate that, but this kind of beats them as well. So this is exactly what you want.
This is what you have. Like I didn't want to actually name anyone, but you chose to. Yeah, so but we are literally building a completely new editor, which is loved by millions of people out there, but it's too pricey. So we said let's do justice to those people. So this tab is soon going to be removed. Then there's something called as advanced settings. So over here, advanced setting is where you can like kind of fill the values using a query parameter. So this is a little advanced, and this can actually be used at places where if you are sending out an email and you want to have certain fields pre-filled, then you can just send the data using these query parameters, and these fields will be auto-filled. The second field that we come to is address. Again, like I would not go into deep for everything right now. Again, you can split these, use the split field, and you can just turn off the ones that you don't want. Then you have something called as email field. You can mark this as required, and this is where your placeholder text is. Now, the best thing is that you can just click on enable verification, and when you do that, what we will do is we will send out an email with an OTP to the email of the person filling up this form. Once they fill in this OTP, the lead will be marked as verified. Again, you can mark this field as hidden field, disabled field. You can have some default values. And then in the advanced settings, you have something called as allowed domains. So let's say today you want to allow people only from MakeFormsio to fill this form. They can like enter email addresses that end with MakeForms.io only. So you can enter multiple email addresses. And then, so the moment you have allowed domains, the bottom two options get disabled because technically you are just allowing some domains. So no other domains apart email addresses from no other domains, but MakeForms and MakeStories.io can only be used while filling up this form. So the moment you remove this, we have something called as disallowed domain. So let's say today we want someone who has an email address of, let's say, make.io. We don't want them to fill the um, email fill like enter the something at make.io. They can you can just put all the disallowed domains, and then the moment you turn on disallowed free domains, we have a list of email providers like gmail.com, yahoo.com. People with those email addresses won't be able to fill this. Again, this is autofill from query parameter that you can turn on to retrieve the data used from URL parameters. Then we have phone number. So even in the phone number, the basic things are the same. You can again enable verification. Email verifications are included in your LTD plan. You don't have to pay anything, but mobile number verifications are not included. And I'm specifically stressing on this because there were many folks who were like talking about they didn't have a clarity for this. So the one reason we are not including mobile number verification is because sending emails is very cheap, sending SMS is not. So that's the reason we are not kind of using giving out the mobile number verification. And I have had questions where people said that why are you not using WhatsApp? So one answer to that is that we wouldn't mind doing WhatsApp verification. We even tried doing that, but then we understood one thing that today, let's say you register your WhatsApp account using some number, okay, and you verified. Now you have a completely new number. You also discarded your old number, but your WhatsApp still keeps on working because you verified that number, let's say 2 years ago. So the WhatsApp verification is not authentic, and we wanted to ensure that any kind of verification you do, it is 100% verified. So this is the reason. Now, if you see the kind of tiny details we go into, okay, while building the product, like by default, if you do not set any country code, it will pick up the like the country from where you are. So let's say I publish this form pretty quick. We'll take a look at this.
This feature, someone contacted me that day and they told, can we do this thing? I said, okay, let me check it out. And
Yeah.
then I got back to my some coders, some of the friends. They said, oh, I think we required 5 days to make it happen, and it required this much cost. And I said, dude, come on, you're talking about having to build this, you need this much time and you need this much cost. I said, come on. Like, let me throw you software and you'll be surprised to see how it can be done with just one toggle.
Yeah. So now you can see that since I am from India, this whole country code is set to India. So this is like I feel when I was building forms myself using form builders, these were the minute things, and I have an like an eye for perfection. So I really cannot stand that. Oh, I have to go back to my developer for these things. So and then you can so by default it will take your country from where the user is filling up this form. But let's say you want that, okay, I am from UK, and then let's say I'm from US, so I just want to have US as the default country code. So you set this, and then whenever like person can be coming from any country, but then the default code for him will be +1. Similarly, we have date picker. Again, like if you see, we have date formats. Then what kind of separator you want to use? Like, can you just imagine a form builder giving so many options? Like, okay, you decide what you want. So this is all about empowering the users. Then you can pre-select this with current date. And then on top of that, you can say, okay, I want the date to be from this range to, let's say, this particular range. If the user is providing any date, above or below, just don't accept that date. Then you have something called as default date value. And I think the other settings are pretty straightforward. And then we have time picker. And with time picker, you have an option again to select allow a time range. And then there is an option to have, like, do you want to have a 24 hours timing or you want to have a 12 hours? So the moment you do 12 hours, you have an AM PM also coming in. So this is with the time picker. Then this is something very interesting. We'll come back to this later. Then we have a Calendly field. Okay, so now the Calendly field is something where you authenticate your Calendly account. So my Calendly account is now authenticated. So now even here there are two options. Number one, the user while filling the form can select the date and time. And let's say the user doesn't, you just want to collect the data before. And once you have the data collected, then you want to show the form. So you'll just turn off this knob that says show Calendly after submission, and you will select your event. You can also map your field names. So now whenever you are filling the form, we'll see this later while we are doing a final form demo. So and one good thing is that you can actually do answer calling. So let's say you want to name this as what's your email address @ first name. So now when the user is filling the form, it will add a sense of personalization where it says what's your email address, Pratik, and things like that. Then you have a normal input field. This can be anything, like any kind of input you want to take in. Then you have a number field. So let's say we are trying to build an interest calculator. So I'll just try principal, and then I'll add one more number. I'll say interest, and I'll say number of years. And then there's something called as calculated field. So I add this, I'll say total interest. And over here, there's something called as calculation builder. So this is like a small calculator for everyone. You can just add principal into interest into number of years divided by 100. So now, yeah. And then you can decide that do you want to like round, seal, float, decimal. So if someone is a developer, he would know most of this. So and then you can decide till what level of precision do you want to go. Like, do you want to go up to 2 decimal points, or you want to go all the way to, let's say, 5 decimal points? So again, power in the hand of the users. That is what we believe in. So this was a number field. Then you have a text area. Again, this is pretty simple. You can have a max length. You can decide how long you want your text area to be. If you want to have any default value, you can just put in a default value. Then you have a paragraph text. So let's say you want to have all sounds good at the rate of first name, and you can you can have this in between of the forms. Then you have Dropdown. Now, Dropdown has been personally a very big pain point for me, because like there is so much that you can do with Dropdown. So I'm gonna take a decent 5 minutes just to explain what is Dropdowns, okay, and how we've envisioned it. So Karan and Charlie and anyone over here, have you ever had to be in a situation where you were asked to select the country, then based on the country, the states would load, based on the states, the cities would load? We've all faced this, right? And when we want to build such a thing, we go to developer. So we have something called as predefined list. So you click, you get all this.
Damn, that's amazing. I didn't even notice that.
I give this to the Indian government, right?
Yeah. So you can have country, you can have country state, or you can have country state city, and you will be kind of, your mind will be blown when I tell you we are going one step more down, and actually that's on staging. Like, and I don't like. I feel like the whole community is now a family, so I don't even like I'm not afraid to show the kind of staging environment to the community. So now we are going one level down, and we are saying that, so one user said, hey, I am from US and I don't want my users to actually select the country, then the state, then the city. So we said, okay, let's do this. Let's do state and city, and you decide what country do you want. Now, so if you are from US, only this won't work in the design mode. So we'll have to publish this. So now you don't even have to, and then we are going to go one level more down, and we'll have cities only. So now here you can see that I have only states for, let's say, I'll say New York, and then I have all the New York State cities. So just imagine being able to do this without a developer. So this is one option. Then you have option of last 100 years. Then you have days, months, time zone, and we are kind of just building this as much as we can. So, and then once you select something from a predefined list, you can click on enable edits, and then you can just change them if you want to, or else you can switch back. And then we have called something as multi-select. So the moment you do multi-select, like say I'll just write time zone, and let's republish this form, because it's been quite a time we actually published the form. So now I'll just let me change the template, because we really don't want to make this template quite famous, because we want to stay grounded. Yeah, so let's go here. So now here you can see that I can select multiple time zones. So now within the same drop down, you can have a single select drop down, or you can have a multi-select stuff. So it's one drop down, but the thought process that has gone into building this drop down is like just way too much, I would say. So and let's say I have one more use case. So Charlie, have you ever had to face a situation where you have an option where you select the car brand, and then the models load for that car brand? Have you ever faced those kind of?
Oh yeah, tons, and I've wasted hours and hours on that, especially in like
those are
WordPress and other areas.
Yeah, so those are called linked dropdowns basically. So we call them multi-level dropdown. You just turn them on, then you have something called as edit values. The moment you click that, boom, you have a new editor. This is your level 1 dropdown. So I'll just write car brand, and I'll just write, let's say, Mercedes, BMW, and then let's say Land Rover and Volkswagen.
Yeah, man, I didn't even look at this part. This is badass. I love it.
Yeah, now you go into car model. So now
you need to give us a list of things you didn't see. We have a YouTube video for that.
Yeah, seriously.
You haven't seen this.
Yeah.
We can publish that.
Yeah, I'd say one series. Let's say X1, X3, X5. Save this. Land Rover. Let's say Velar. And what's the other one? Freelander. Save this. Volkswagen. Let's do Golf GT and okay, and save this. So now, and let's say you want to go one down more. You want to say, okay, I had to variants. Now you click on Mercedes S-Class, and then you can go all the way down as much as you want.
Okay. Yeah, this is the next level attention to details that I keep trying to harp on people and saying, I've tested it and I didn't even see this part yet. And I thought it was just, holy cow, this is amazing. No one puts this much thought into like their first version of a product.
Yeah. No, so that's the reason it took us almost a year and a half. Deepak was like, we gotta launch the product. But I was like, no, because everyone says fail fast, build fast. I don't believe in that thing, because for me it was never about like just going to the market early. It was like, if we go to the market, it's gotta be at its best. So yeah, coming back to this drop down editor. So now this is a visual builder, but now let's say if you are building something that has got like 5,000 values, okay, in that case, building something like this manually would really be a pain. So what we've done is that we have a text format. So this will give you the JSON value, okay, the JSON tree. So you can just build the initial JSON format. You can go to your data team. You can tell them, okay, all the data that we have, just give them to us in this format. They can just take that data, just copy paste it here, and boom, your drop downs are done. So now let's say if we go here, I'd say I select Mercedes, this one loads. I select BMW, all the BMW models load, and so on. So now just imagine like building something like this. No form builder tool has this. So this is it. Then you have something called as number drop down. So you can decide, you can just add numbers. This is very basic. I have nothing, like to boast much about. Now the choices here is where things changes. So I would say which part of country do you live in, for example, and then I'll just like east, west, north, and south, for example. Okay, and you can just move them visually if you want to. Now, if you see, this is something called a spread to columns. When the moment you turn them on, this will all come in one line. And then you can say, okay, I want to add another option. So you click add other. And when someone clicks on add other, the like the text box will come and they can type their own value. But the things really change when it gives you an option of choice types, where the one type is the normal one. The another one is the pills, because like this is the new kind of fancy check boxes and radio boxes that people uses. And then there is something called as images. So now you can literally have an image. I'm just using this AI image of mine because I don't have much on my PC. So let's say this is something else. Now and you can actually keep on building more of these. Okay, but now let's say the detailing also comes in here, wherein you have display indicator, so it will show these buttons. You also have something called as display label. So now you have the label. So you can decide that if you just don't want to give, you just want to have an image quiz, you just turn on off the labels, and then you have users who will just select the images, and they can decide what to do. Then there is something called as multi-choice. This is pretty, I would say, common. Okay, again, these things remain the same, and you can spread them to column. Now, let's say I'll just add a couple of more options. Now, over here, it says that multiple selection. Like, do you want to have a number of selections? Like, the user can select only maximum 4, or do you want to have a range of selections, let's say between 2 to 5? So now, unless or until the user does not select anything between 2 to 5, the form will throw a validation error. Then there is an image field. So it's just for you guys to upload an image. Again, I'll use my AI generated image there. Then there is a file upload field. Again, attention to detail, you can just change upload file, the text here. You can allow users to upload multiple files, and here you just get all the file types. So let's say you just want users to have upload documents, and images, they can do that. Or else you can just decide that, okay, I just don't want to allow them to upload all the image formats, but just the JPG, PNG, and GIF. So you can decide what you want to do. Again,
That's so smart. And the other tool, you would actually have to write all of those out, comma separated, and even know. And of
the
course, you'll
file
always
format.
forget what, yeah, you always forget one or two, and then you get support tickets saying, I can't upload images. And then
Yeah,
you waste hours trying to figure out why.
exactly. So we've been there, right? Like we've had all these issues, like where we are like, oh, and then we'd like either blame the developer, or we'd just say, oh, what kind of a form tool is this? So we don't want our users to ever face that kind of a like situation. So that this is the file field. You can add dividers if you want to. Then you can add a spacer. Uh, so this will basically allow you to add spaces. And then there's page breaks. So page breaks is where like the moment you add a page break, your form gets split into a step form. Okay. Oops, the demo guards came up. They're like, okay, it's demo time. It's got a break. Right, cool. So we'll just add a page break. So now this basically, like the moment you add a page break, you have step 1 and step 2. So you can say, okay, personal details, and then you can just add some content. And then for the step 2, you would say company details, for example. Yes, and then now when you go into the form, you can see personal details. You can click next, and now you have, so now your form is basically converted from a big long form into a step form. So we always say that we have all the form types. We are not restricting you to one at a time, which some form builders only allow one at a time. You can decide if you want to have one at a time, step form, or all fields at once. So now our form is broken into a step form. So you can add as many page breaks as you want to. Now I'll just add a rating field. Rating field, you can have a star or an emoji. Nothing fancy here, to be honest, because we didn't know like how to make this fancy. Then you have a Likert scale. So you can say, okay, I want to have this between 0 to 8, or let's say 1 to 8, and you want to say, Pooba, okay, good. So this is a Likert scale. You can add a slider. And okay, I forgot NPS. So this is basically a net promoter score that you can add. So again, like the use cases are varied. Now an agency can actually go ahead and use this for NPS, to do NPS service for their clients. And just imagine the service going on their clients' domains and not on some monkey.com, right? So this again, like personalization and everything to the point. You have a like dislike, then you have a legal consent. This is also something that is very much thought of. So number one, you can say, okay, I accept the terms and conditions, and you can, let's say, like MakeForms.io/privacy policy, for example, and we can just link this out. Now, so this is one way to do this. Again, like you can spread this two columns, so you can have accept and I don't accept at the same thing, and then I'll just turn this to be required. Now, do you remember that you have at times you have a legal content, and unless and until you do not scroll all the way to the bottom, the buttons won't kind of get activated. So what we'll do is we'll just copy some data. Let's try to make it really big. And now what you do is you just turn on enforce greeting. And now let's try to actually I'll remove the step form step because it will ask me to actually fill all the fields in step 1 and then only allow me to go. So now here you can see that we have these buttons are not activated. I cannot select them. Now I'll have to just go through the entire thing, come down to the bottom, and then these are activated. Again, this is where
Yeah.
you always need a developer, but sorted for you all.
Yeah, and I guess I'm hoping the people that are on the webinar and whoever watches this afterwards, I'm hoping they recognize like these little details are not easy to develop. We have a dev team at Rocket Hub, but Pratik has also like one of the most solid dev teams I've seen, and I would not hand out that compliment quite easily. But when I saw stuff like this, I'm just like, holy cow, my mind is blown by some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping tonight at all. I mean, I'll be up all night creating different forms and finding out some of the hidden stuff.
Yeah, awesome. So now then we have a matrix, so you can add as many rows as you want. And then over here you have radio. But let's say for the first column, you want to have a checkbox. For the second column, you want to have a text box. And then you want to add one more column, you can decide, okay, I want to have a drop down. So now you have a very, kind of a mixed matrix. So you can just play as you want. I just won't go into detail because there's not much to do. You have a URL field, again, like very simple. I don't need to explain this. This is something which is very exciting. And the API action and location again, like you can just add a location. You will be asked for the Google Maps API key, and you have all the options like what data do you want to include in your final submission. So you can select all those data that you want. I don't have an API key handy right now, so I'm not going to kind of take this field. Now, let's take a look at, I'll come back to repeater field and repeater group, because that is like completely next level thing that we've built. But I'll quickly come to the design tabs. Okay. So you can just click on change design, and you can see that we have various different types of templates. We have many more templates that are designed, but we are just trying to contain ourselves. We are trying to make the platform very stable. So like now this design is completely unique. Okay, you can just go and you can just remove this if you don't want to have that. You can just go into colors, and now if you see the kind of what is it, customizations that you can do, you literally have so many options. Like what would be the answer text, what would be the answer background tech color, then what would be the active color, the inactive color. And then we literally have so many different palettes that you can just use to like just build your designs on the fly. And then you're, so again, like as I said, we do not want you to be restricted to the options that we give. So you can just select a palette that you think is best for you, and then you can always keep on changing these colors. Again, you have fonts. These are all the different font styles that you can change. And then if you think that there is something that I would want to change, you can just always go into custom CSS, and you can add your own CSS. I don't know what else a person wants in his life after having the ability to do all this stuff. So now
Yeah, this is nuts. So I have a question related to this because someone asked a question about brand kits. Does it save the custom palette so that we can reuse it over and over and over?
We are working on that, but we are facing one problem, which is like our templates are so varied that we are not able to come down to one
Standardized, like yeah, that
So
makes sense.
so that's the reason we are not able to go the palette approach.
Got
That's
it.
one thing. So now this entire form is built. Even we have this. And so now I'll just create a new form because I feel that this form just has way too much fields. So have you guys ever faced a thing where like let's imagine a situation where you are kind of at a place where you want to have a field which keeps on repeating itself. So what you can do is any field that you add, let's say today you have a name field, you want to say enter name of founders, and you want to have an ability to allow the user to add up to, let's say, 5 founders. Okay, so you'll just go down, you'll just turn on this field which is called repeat this field, and then you'll say, okay, maximum I want the user to be able to add up to 5 founders. And I'll quickly publish this form. I go in here and you can see enter name of the founder. I'd say, okay, Pratik. Let's say Charlie is also one of my co-founders and Karan is also. So now you can just, if you did not have this repeater field, ideally what you'll have to do is you'd have to have founder 1, founder 2, founder 3, founder 4, founder 5. But now that actually spoils the entire user experience, because at the very start user is seeing 5 fields and is kind of a little confused. So, and then you can just delete if you want to.
Yeah, this is probably a technical kind of comment for all you folks, but the repeater fields are very hard to implement on the back end, very difficult to implement. This is a recurring problem in almost everything, whether it's a repeater field in WordPress on a form or advanced custom fields, or you're in a SaaS and you want to implement a repeater field. Because there's so many aspects of it. There's the front end side of it, which is, obviously you don't want to show 5 blank fields to intimidate users. But then there's the back end side, which is how do you consume that data and store it on the, in the back end in a table and whatnot, so you can export it later. So while on the surface it seems easy, this is pretty advanced stuff.
Yeah. So then when this data comes in a backend, it would say Pratik plus 1 more, and when you click that, it will give you a data like, okay, Pratik and Charlie, these were the 2. So again, like UI is something that matters to me a lot. So I've been like very picky about all the small things. So now you can actually have one field as a repeating field, but here is the repeater group is where the equation changes completely. So this is like group of fields. Okay, so I would say founder details. Now I'll just go in, I'll just say, okay, their name, their email address. Let's say we'll say their qualification. And now you can say, okay, I want this entire group of fields to repeat for 5 times. I'll just republish this form. And now you can say this entire thing is in a box. Yeah, I would say, okay, Pratik at makestories.io. Let's say I'm in MSC. Now I'll just click add another founder details. So that's my founder too. I would say, let's say Charlie at rocket.com. Charlie, what's the qualification? Do you mind to let us know?
Sure, I'm just charming.
Charming. Then we have Karan at rocket.com. And let's say he is also charming. And I'll just submit this form. Okay. So now we'll just go here, and now we'll see the submission. So here it says founder details. It has got 3 entries. I'll click this. Okay, seems like a problem. But yeah, so this
use the same form. That's why.
Yeah, maybe. So but it would technically take all the 3 and it show up over there. So now this is like which I feel is very important for a form builder tool to implement. Now let's come back to one more thing, which is the sensitive data. But I think we actually are learning a little bit short on time. So, and there's so much more that I have to cover. So, let's say we want to. This was another question that a lot of users asked, which was about the quiz. So let's quickly jump into the quiz thing. Okay, so let's say I would quickly enter an input field. I'd say, who is the Prime Minister of India? Then I'll add a multiple choice. Which countries are part of EU? I'll quickly add, let's say, France, USA, India, then Greece, Iceland, and I'm not sure if Iceland is, let's skip that, Mexico, and Italy. Then we'll also add a single choice, which say, what is the capital of India? So yeah, Mumbai, that's where I am. Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and Bangalore. Then it's a big day for us, all of us Indians. I would say, what day did Chandrayaan from India land on the southern pole of the moon? Cool. So these are all the fields that you can use. Now, let's say if you want to enable quiz, you will just go into form settings and you will say enable quiz. The moment you do that, you will see there is a quiz tab that comes in at the top, and you click that, and here is where the whole quiz builder is. So who is the Prime Minister of India? So this type of questions are very, like a person can, so Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister of India. So a user can write just Modi, because a lot of Indians call him just Modi. Then many people would write Narendra Modi. Many would write Narendra Modi together. So here are all the possible answers that you feel that a user can give. And then these can either be case sensitive. And if you feel that you don't want to really, like the case sensitivity really does not matter to you, so you can just disable it. So now, whenever a user, it would, like, if you'd write MODI in all caps, it would just accept it as a correct answer. Then you can just click, like, if let's say this question does not really matter a lot, so you can say, okay, exclude in scoring, so it won't be used for your scoring mechanism. Now let's say you want to enable custom scoring for this question, so you just turn this on. You'd say, okay, if you are answer it correctly, I'm going to give you 5 marks, and if you are going to give a wrong answer, I'm going to deduct 3 marks for you. Again, over here, which countries are part of EU? So France, Greece, and Italy. Again, you can enable custom scoring. I would say I would give 1 for this. If you give -1 for every wrong option, and +1 if you give the correct answer. Then what is the capital of India? I don't want to have custom score for this. And then what day did Chandrayaan land? It's today, so it's 2023 August 25. And this, I'd say, like, this really gets 1,000 marks. And then if you get it wrong, you get -100. Yeah. So no, let's not be that harsh. And that gives just -5. And now you go save and exit. Now you just go to your thank you page. You remove this. Okay, and you add this component called as quiz score. So here you can just show a pie chart. Then you can show a review answer button. So maybe at times you want to tell them, okay, you kind of answered, this was right and this was wrong. And then there's something called as, you can either show the points, you can show the percentage, or you can literally show the grade. So let's say you want to say, okay, 50 is for passing. If you do 75, it's excellent. So you can literally do the grading. For now, I'll just show percentage, and I'll publish this form. I'll go in here and say, okay, Modi, and I'll just type all caps. I'll just answer France, USA, Greece. Let's do some wrong answers. What is the capital of India? I feel it should be Mumbai, so let's go for Mumbai. And then I'd say 23/08/2023, and I'll submit this. And now I have a score. It says it's 89.47. I'll click on review answers. So it gives me, okay, it says that, okay, this was Modi. So you see, I have it all caps, but since we turned off we disabled the case sensitivity, even it kept it all caps Modi as a correct answer. Then it said, okay, this one is wrong. This one is wrong. And this one is correct. So again, like the complete control is in the hand of the users. They can decide what they want to show, what they don't want to show. So yeah, I think that we won because the last question was really had huge scoring. Now let me come to one final thing, and then we'll deep dive into a couple of other things. So Charlie, do you think that you're bored that your thank you screen always says that, hey, thanks for submitting?
Yes, absolutely. It's boring
Okay.
as hell.
Yeah, so boring as hell. So we're gonna change that, and we are gonna have OpenAI write our thank you message for us.
Oh
So
God, I was waiting for this. Let's go.
yeah, so let's say name, email address, let's say dietary. Okay, sorry, single choice, and I'd say gender, male and female. Okay. Now we're just gonna go in and we are going to put this thing called as OpenAI connector. And here we have something called as prompt builder. And here we have the system prompt. I'll just change this to GPT-4. I'll write the system prompt as you are a customer satisfaction manager. Okay. And over here, I will write inside the prompt builder. You will be drafting a custom and funny greeting message for the full name, who is a, and we add the gender. I'll quickly stop my screen sharing and I'll get the OpenAI key.
Sure.
Okay. So now, and you can decide what temperature you want to have. I'll keep it to 0.7. And now in the thank you page, I'll just remove all of this. And I'll just put chat completion. Okay, and now let's publish this form. And you'll open this. Let's say Pratik at MakeStories.io, mail, and I'll submit. Hey Pratik, welcome to a crazy, fun-filled, and sometimes downright chaotic world of customer service. Just imagine drafting this kind of AI-generated thank you message.
Oh,
It almost seems like it's being drafted by a real person after you submit it. So it's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah. And so, yeah, again, like these are the small things, like I feel that the Goliaths of forms today, they really don't care because it's already working for them. They don't need to innovate, like because they've got everything. They've got the ARR that they want. They've got investors that they have to answer to, but we've got nothing. Like we are here to just change the form game. Okay, so I think enough with the editor. I've shown a lot. I'll quickly jump into the sources because this is really important. And I'd love to, like walk you through all these things. So now, like at times you would want to have multiple links. So let's say, Charlie, today you and Karan are prospecting, okay, to multiple clients, and you want to like make sure that okay, there is one link for Charlie and one link for Karan. So whenever a response comes, we know that who is like bringing in the leads. So you can just create as many links as you want. So let's say I would name this as Karan. Okay, so now I have a completely new link, and let's say when I fill this form, charlie@rocket.com mail, and submit this. And when I refresh this, it literally shows me that, okay, the response was from this source generated these many responses, and this source generated this many responses. Now the game really changes on the source level. So you just click on edit source, and boom, you're presented with all the stuff. The first one is the link metadata. So let's say you want to have you want to customize the way this particular thing is shown on your social media. I'd say current prospecting. I'll just type this. I'll just have a quick fav icon. Okay, never mind. And then I'll just add this. I'll save it. So now whenever I go and check this, I post this on LinkedIn, it will kind of have all this data. So you have to enable this. Then there's something called as cutoff time. So let's say I want this form to accept responses only till 22nd August. I'll just save this. Now when I go and open this link, it will tell me that this form is closed. It's no longer accepting any responses. Then you can enable partial responses. When I do this, what it will do is it will just go in and okay, I need to hard refresh this. Okay, so it will give the user a partial submission notice saying that this form is automatically saved at regular intervals. And the reason we have to do this is because we really care about the privacy of the user who is filling the form, as well as the not only the form owner. We believe that the person who is filling the form should also know that this form is being saved at regular intervals. So the moment the user clicks on proceed, the form opens. Now, but there are certain people who say that, oh, you know what, we really don't want our users to know about this. So we allow you to do implicit consent, but then we clearly tell that while you are doing this, you are literally invading someone's privacy and you are breaking the GDPR laws. So we had to do this. We didn't want to do it, but we had to do it. And then there's something called as restrict responses. So let's say you want to stop accepting submissions after, let's say, 2 responses. Since we have 2 responses right now, I have just marked this as 2. I'll just refresh this. Actually, it takes a little while. So it says form closed. So, and then you can add password protection. I would say Rocket Hub and MakeForms. Okay. And that's my password. I'll save this. So now you can have your forms password protected. When you click this, it will ask you for the password, open form, and then the form opens up. Then you can have like analytics, you can have Facebook tracking pixel. And then on the thank you page, you can have conversion ID. You can also have your cookie consent. So let's say today you're using Exceptio, Cookiebot, or OneTrust. You can literally put in their API keys, and we just integrate their cookie consent or cookie, what do you say, cookie acceptance form onto this form actually. So you can, and all of this can literally be done on a source level. So number one, you can host it on your own domain, which is a plus plus plus. Second, you can create multiple links of the same form, so okay, here is where the responses are coming from. And on top of that, you can literally change all, you can customize all of your form links too. So I'm not sure, again, I would say, what else a person would want. And then you can just go in, you can embed your form. Embedding is very simple. This is a side pop-up, then you have a light box, then you have a floating CTA, so you can have something like this at the bottom, it comes up. Then you have an iframe embed, full embed, then you have raw embed, and then you have something called as JS embed. So JS embed is for a little advanced people who want to, just have this entire thing loaded onto their page, so that they don't have any scroll bars. But here is something that we've kind of have it, where we are saying that you can have an overlay checkout. Now this is something called as website gating. So we have a website called voiceover.so. Okay, so you can see that if you are using a JS embed with an overlay and you click on get embed code, it will give you two different code bases. Okay, so you have to just copy paste the head code and the body code. So now what this is literally doing is that it's gating my website. So unless and until I don't enter my email address, I click submit. Now this will send me an OTP. So I'll have to go in there and I'll have to copy my OTP, paste it here. And now when I kind of verify my email address, then only the website will open. So now you can literally do website gating using JS embed and an JS plus an overlay embed. All you have to do is copy paste our code, and then it does only once, and then all your pages are literally protected by an inquiry or a JSON form or a form. So unless and until the user is not filling the form, they cannot see the website. So that is one thing. Then now coming back to my own workspace, because I have a decent data over there and I'd like to show something amazing to people out there. So let's say this is the basic view, and whenever you don't have a response opened up, it will be shown as as bold, and when you click it, it will load all the data for you. You can just add some notes over here. This is a test note, and then you can save this. You can again delete it, edit it, and then you can filter by source. Over here we had just one source, so it shows default link. So you can apply this. Then you can let's say you want to have these three things and you want to add a tag, so you can just tag this. You can say testing. You can add a tag. Okay, tag name. Charlie is my favorite word today.
Yep, it should be.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite word should be Charlie.
Yeah, and then when you click on manage tags, it says that okay, make this tag as global. So now this Charlie tag will be available for all the forms that I built. You can export the selected. You can mark something as spam if you think that this is a spam inquiry or something. You can bookmark things. You can mark them as favorite. You can hit search and then it will search for you. You can mark this as unseen. So this is kind of a mini CRM, not a full-blown CRM. Then you have something called a summary view. So this gives you the stats. This gives you a pie chart of your options. And then we have something called as BI view. For that, I'll just use another form that I have.
While you're on this BI view, which most people wouldn't even expect, I have a quick question about that. When it comes to accessing these different workspaces, if I had a client, how would what is the best way to give them access to this BI view or these responses?
I think the moment you give them access to responses, they just get access.
They get access to the BI view as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this data is a little bigger. So we'll just go with a small data set. So let's say we have a Booker demo form. This also does not have the kind of data that I need for this behavior. Yeah, I think I have one in Deepak's workspace actually. So let's say I click on BI view. So this is something called as pivot tables. I turn them on. Else, even I can normally search, like over here, I can say if this contains this, there's like we can have queries. I'll turn on the BI view and then I would say, okay, what were the diet preferences? So now it would say, okay, these all were the diet. I want to go one level down or above. I'd say, okay, let's go by gender. So it would say that there were 9 females, 5 out of them were vegetarian, 4 were non-vegetarian. And then we don't have like much data for all of these. So like we didn't have the top level data. So that is the reason this is not coming up. And then you would say, okay, and some of their age. So it would then, so you can actually go deep as much as you want. So this is the BI view that I'm talking about. In fact, this is a very interesting use case that Deepak actually did make. So what he did was, let's say I would enter my name, my age, my dietary preferences, and my gender. So it would literally be my nutritionist, and it would generate the nutrition plan for me. So this is where Deepak used the OpenAI connector actually. So I think this is all that I have. I don't have, I like there are workflows. I think we'd have, if I can actually quickly get into this one. So what this does is that whenever I have a response, I'm sending it to an approver. And when the approver, kind of approves it, it goes to another approver and then it goes to review. And if the reviewer kind of accepts it, it sends an email. And so you can literally build this kind of approval workflows for if you are trying to automate something for your client. So this is what approval workflow is for. And then this is something very exciting, but this is a little bit technical also. So let's say you have an API, you want to send some data to the API and get back the data, and you want to take that return data and you want to use it in a form. So I just click on this. So this is an Italian jokes API that I had. So I have just set up this API. I click next. I just test the connection. So it gives me all of these data like the ID, the joke, the type, and the subtype. I click next. And then all this data that I've received from the API, I just map them to an internal name that I have. And then
That's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah, and now I'll just go into the jokes that I've built. So I would kind of, like I have this API action. This is something that I was talking about, the API action. I copy paste this. I say that I want to call an API. Over here, I have set up the Italian jokes API. And then the joke type would actually be the Dropdown. But it's not picking up here right now. I don't know why. But yeah, but this is okay. This is not the input mapping. So when the output is like we get back the joke ID, the joke content. So this joke content is used inside over here. So I'll just map like the joke content. And now I'll just go to my form. Oh, okay. Actually, I'm in the box workspace. Okay, sorry. I'll just go back to the sources. So I'll go here and I'll click on get joke. So now it goes to the API that we set up, brings the joke and displays it.
Nice.
So now you can literally build small mini API apps. So if you want to, let's say, test out something, you can just test it out and, you know, then build on top of it. And I'm quickly going to, and then we have analytics. We have, oh, this is something that we have not seen. So let me quickly create a small form, contact form. Let's say it's name, address, email, and let's try to do surveys on email. So I'm just going to add a rating field. Okay, and let's publish this. And over here, we just send this to myself. And let's say, hey, please let us know what do you think about this demo? And I'll send this.
Yep. And what you just did there is basically the what's considered in email like forms, right?
Yep. So now
Yep.
I'm inside my form. I'm just
Okay, so Paula, if you're listening, this is what you had asked about. This is what an in-app form looks like. You don't even have to go to a link. It's right there in his email address. And you just submit this. Great way to collect surveys and feedback.
Yeah. Yep. Now, if you go into this, it will say that, okay, this was through a email campaign that you did. And then what this thing did is it also sent me a response, like a notification, along with a PDF of the data that we have received. So I feel that this webinar will last for like hours if I keep on deep diving into everything. Again, like there's something called as enable, save, and continue. This is really useful when you are, kind of you have very big forms. You just want the users to save them and use them later. So, but again, if you see this, you have this button here that says save. But if you want to change the text of that button, you can just say save for later, for example. And what I'll do is I'll also quickly set up the Calendly so I can show you how it works after submission. And the name field is here, and then the email address field is here. And then inside the form, I think we saw the quiz, we'll also take a look at form summary. So then and then I'll also send out an email notification to myself. And this is also something that a lot of people have told, that you have to add the user to the workspace for them to send an email notification. So people are saying that we will have to then add our clients. So to be honest, like we while we were building this product, we thought that this is like an enterprise grade product, which I still believe it is, because we've had some enterprises moving out from a very popular form tools in like 30 minutes of demo. So we were like, we want to really like capitalize on this notification thing. So that's the reason we have an option where you need to add the emails to your workspace to be able to send them notifications. While I have taken that feedback, I'll get back to my team I'll get their feedback on what they are thinking, whether we should allow any email address to be, kind of allowed to send notifications. So I'll get back to the community about it later. So let's say I'm filling this form. So now you can see that since I have enabled form review, form summary, I don't have a submit button, I have a review button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save for later. And when I do this, a pop-up comes up and it says you can continue filling this form later using this URL. So you can either copy this or you can just send this link to yourself and send on email. So now what this will do, it will send me an email saying that, hey, here is the form link that you kind of wanted. So you can just resume your form later. So then I go back and you can see that my data is there. I'll just write Mumbai, Pratik at makestories.io. I'll just rate this. I'll click on review. So it's showing me, okay, this is all following is the summary of your data. Kindly review this once. I click on submit and the Calendly will pop up. And then I select, okay, this is the date. I select the time and you can see that my name and email address is already populated from the form field. So now many a time people have it where they
That's awesome,
literally
man.
say that we want to collect the data and then move them to the to our calendar. So this is like the user does not even know that he is going to have the Calendly coming up. He can just fill up the entire form and then he will be shown the Calendly. And here you can see that the moment I have booked my meeting, my Calendly URL comes in. So you can just open this link and you can see, okay, what the event looks like.
This
So I
is
think,
literally 90% of everything I deal with all day about trying to get clients to set up a call, or anybody who's doing lead gen, cold email, Facebook DMs, whatever that you're doing. That's huge to have a form like that just gives the Calendly link after they submit, because now you have their information. You don't have to have a back and forth to be like, oh, well, let me send you my Calendly link and then you can book, because sometimes you
There's
lose
no
people
to
on that.
and fro, right?
Yeah.
yeah. Cool. So I think I love my own product so much.
No, it shows, man. It
we
shows.
do.
There's a lot.
Like we are
There's a
going
lot
to
of sweat that has gone into
like
this, and a lot of attention to
Yeah.
details in it. And I noticed it the first time I met you and I saw the product. I had looked at it, and that was 9 months ago. And again, that's why I'm really, really like just making sure people actually take a look at it, as opposed to just trying to judge it at a surface level with any other random forms tool. It's like, we are not the same. This is not the same thing as any other forms tool that you have. I guarantee it. And I think this webinar is a good example and reference of why it is not the same. Now, it's hard to encapsulate that into a few sentences in a Facebook post or in an email. You have to actually like use it, and then you actually have to uncover the 1,000 little details that you guys already thought about, that some of us never even knew existed and were like problematic for us.
Yeah. And I think I'll quickly show one thing that I wanted to. So this is like a little sneak peek into what we are doing. So if you are a fan of a one at a time form builder tool, I won't name them, we literally have the editor coming for you, which is for one at a time. Like this is how one of the form tool looks.
wow. haven't that form builder reached out to you yet?
Sorry?
Guys, what are you doing? hasn't that company reached out to you yet?
I think we are
What are you
just
guys
trying
doing?
to make forms powerful. We want to be the voice of those people who are using forms, because I really, really, really feel bad when the user pays for a tool and then they also do the marketing for that tool. I believe that if your product is really, really, really good, you don't need to use the client's media to promote yourself. You don't do that. That's so unethical, because someone has paid you. literally need to show your branding. So even if you see, even when a person buys a basic subscription of MakeForms, or even if they are on the free tier, all of our forms are published on frms.link, which is like a very white labeled domain. So because I know that I don't want backlinks for MakeForms.io. If I am doing, if the users love the tool, they are going to give me backlinks anyway. So I'm against all those, things that are being set in the industry. And I would say we are kind of doing everything. We are not doing everything that a company won't do, because they are afraid that, if we would miss on the backlinks. Like, even if you see some of the biggest form tools today, they've got like fucking millions of backlinks, millions. And that's how that's what they've banked on. So I know that the path we've chosen is very difficult, but again, like, I think that the love that the community has shown over the past 2 days, I would say that you guys are the one who are going to take us from here to where we want to be. And that's it.
Thank you. But yeah, you are doing a great job. I think this demo was amazing. I think that's like a 90%, and that's like an iceberg, right? Like what you see and what you don't see. I mean, we saw the iceberg, the bottom part of it, and I think everyone loved it. I mean, 2 people purchased on the webinar itself. They said, "I'm going ahead, give me the code." So that shows the testament of how great the product is and what's the roadmap. Amazing. So I think let's answer a few questions. People kind of waiting for. I'll pick up a few of them, and we keep running.
And there's a lot of questions. Some of
Yeah.
them we've saved till the end. So just want to make sure you guys realize that I wasn't ignoring you. I was actually saving it for the Q&A.
Yes.
But while since we probably can't go through 40 questions, otherwise I have to take your entire day.
Yes.
Let's do this. Any question that is
do you mind if I take them one by one? I'll be quick because I do that all day. Okay,
all right, cool. Let's go.
Yeah, sure.
So I think Just says that regarding HIPAA, at the top tier, we can have 100 businesses, and each can have a BA assigned, correct? So, and potentially I could have 100 BA HIPAA compliant accounts for an additional 4851. Don't worry, I would not do that. To you all, just speculative. Are we able to bring no? So Just, you cannot bring your own BA, because the BA needs to be signed between MakeForms and your health clinic or the client. So that won't be possible. You'll have to have one BA for every customer. So I'll move to the next one. Can you share an insider's look at your BI interface and how data can be manipulated or sliced to uncover insights? I will. What I'll try to do is, right now I don't have good amount of data to actually play around. So I'm going to like automate the whole form ingestion. I'll do it over a few days, and I'll create another video and send it across pretty soon. Then Peter says that US based are HIPAA enabled but don't have the GDPR. And the EU or US are not the HIPAA compliant. So yeah, I believe that that's correct, because GDPR wants you to all the data to be saved in EU, and HIPAA wants all the data to be stored in US. So you can either go for GDPR compliance or for HIPAA. And this is also a good time to buy 2 LTDs for you, one for your GDPR compliance and one for your HIPAA compliance. So, and then Peter again asked, can team members be restricted to certain forms inside a workspace? So Peter, we've had that feedback. We are building ACLs for that. So maybe I'm not sure it's going to be this year, because for this year the sprints are pretty much sorted. We are gonna do dev only till mid-October. Post that, the entire team is going to get into the phase where we are just cleaning up our code, unblotting everything, because you need to understand that we've built over the last 18 months. So the whole thing needs to mellow down a little bit. So it's definitely coming in 2024. I don't want to give false hopes and say that it's coming in November or December. Then Bruno says it's cool that CAPTCHA is included in default, but it's still possible to remove it from our forms if you wish? No, you cannot remove CAPTCHA. What you can do is you can use Google reCAPTCHA version 4, and you can use and we are going to by default hide the reCAPTCHA by ourselves. So using reCAPTCHA latest version is recommended. Then he says, where can I suggest new features? I'll just paste the link where you can actually, kind of request new features. And then do you have plans to create brand kits? I think I already answered that question. You said there is a fee for messaging. How does that work? So Paula, what we are trying to do right now is we are trying to so there is a huge difference in the SMS cost for mobile number verification. So if you are in India, it costs you like 2 cents. If you are in some Middle East country, it costs you 50 cents. So right now we have averaged it out to around 30 cents per SMS verification. So we are going to do a tier based from level 1 to level 7. But again, yeah, it's a very small number of users who actually use mobile OTP verifications. So that kind of dev is going to happen again in 2024. So yeah, I think I have answered both your questions, Paula. And there is no date picker from a calendar. I don't get this, so I'm going to skip this. Then Bruno says it's possible to lock phone number field to a selected range of countries. I would say not right now, but definitely a very nice feature. I'd request you to just kind of fill our request feature form. Then Noor says that, is it possible to hide the report abuse? No, you cannot do that, because as a form tool, we have seen people who do phishing a lot using forms. So we need to have the report abuse link for the government agencies to report such forms to us. Can we use gated content for generated leads? I would say up to you. If you want your visit to collect your website visitors information first, feel free to use it. Is there a test for personality test based form logic like Myers-Briggs? I'd say send me across the link of the form. I'll just create a video of how to build that and send it back to you. Is it possible to connect 2 forms? No, right now we don't have that. Again, like we have had a lot of users request that, but it's again going in 2024, not this year. Peter asks, can you create a form for volunteers to select certain slots? There are only a certain number of slots based on, and once a slot is selected, it is no longer available for another volunteer to select. I think no, again, this is more of like an app within itself where you are doing the time management. So no, I would say this is not something that you can do. Then Paula Caldwell says that, is there a way to have a timer on the quiz so people can cheat? Yeah, we have had that feedback, and I would say, but again, like we feel the quiz builder that we have right now is very comprehensive. So we might take it as a feature request for next year. Then Zaki says, is there an option to provide a text 1, text 2, text 3 based on the scores from the answers? I think, yeah, I'll get back to you about that. Like, I know that I have used that, but like give me some time. I need to get back to you on this. Then Paula says, is GPT 3.5 and 4 included, or do we have? So Paula, you bring in your API key. It's not our API key. So if your OpenAI API keys gives you 3.5 or 4, good for you. Then Chris says, if I want to create an assessment that provides a result based on scores across different dimensions, is that built using? Okay. Yeah. So what you can do is, I'll again, like Charlie, just let me know. I'll just create a video for this and send back. Are you going to share this recording, Charlie?
Yes, we'll be sharing this after the call.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the option to display multiple thank you pages for quizzes based on the score? So what you can actually do is the one at a time form builder that we are creating has multiple thank you pages. But I'll quickly show you how you can literally. So using the logic, you can hide and show the thank you page fields. So let me quickly share my screen.
Sure.
Okay, so over here you can see that this is the logic builder. I didn't have time to go through this, but you can hide the fields Okay, and here you have two, like the form fields and the thank you fields. So you can hide the thank you page fields, and again you can build the thank you page as you wish. You can drag drop stuff and things like that. So feel free to use the logic fields to based on the answers, you can just show and hide stuff. Then do you have the option to, okay, Ankush answered that. Then in the calculator, do we have simple formulas available? Then like if I think calculator, this is like a very basic calculator. What you can actually do is use logic and calculator together. Ankush, what I'll do is maybe we can have one more webinar, Charlie, wherein we dive into these kind of, like predefined complex forms. So, like this,
Yes.
this is not
Can have it.
overwhelming for everyone. Will the new builder be available? Yes, it will be available to everyone. Dashboard and also a lot of elements on forms like yes, no, password links and required fields alerts are showing in English only. How to translate everything. So Rodrigo, what we are doing is we are launching something called uh, as multilingual forms. So you can actually let me see if we have that. I believe we have that on staging. Let me see. So you can literally, yeah, I'll just go in here. This is almost close to launch, so that's the reason I can actually show you guys. So what you can do is in your settings, you can just click on internationalization, and let's say you want to add Spanish, German, and you want to update this. When you refresh this, you just go inside, and then you turn on the languages that you want. You click on edit, and over here, boom, you are have all those options which you can convert. So you would like write the string translations for each and every strings that you have on the form. So this way you can have literally have multilingual forms actually.
That's impressive. That's huge.
How API question works, I didn't get this. I'm gonna skip this. I want to test out the BI view with existing. Is it possible to upload? No, you cannot upload data from the past form. Can we have AI depending on the score the person got on the quiz? I would say try it out. But no, I don't think you can do that because because right now the AI actually takes fields only from the form and not from the thank you field. So I'm a little worried that you won't be able to do that. Then is there a timer? Again, I give an answer. Can you give? No, we cannot give KYC because we have a hard cost for that. Is GPT again, like you have to bring your own thing. Notion integration, yes, we have a Notion integration. For the agency plan, users will have separate data. I again, like I need more context. Can we use Cloudflare? We definitely have love the Cloudflare turnstile. We again, like we would see how big of this is because I feel Cloudflare turnstile is much more better. It does not like kind of bother the user a lot. So yeah, I would say I can put that up in this year's sprint. Thanks, Charlie. Follow-up users. Does adding client to of a user give them access to view all other forms in the workspace? Right now, yes. I answered this before that we are going to do ACL based on the forms. Do they in email? No, they don't open in Outlook. They used to open before, but now they don't. What payment integrations are available? So for payment gateway, we are doing PayPal. No, we're not doing PayPal. We are doing Stripe. We are doing Molly for EU. We are doing Razorpay for India. Then we are doing Lemon Squeezy, Paddle, and FastSpring. Agency tier have email credit. Yeah, you have the email campaign credits. However, they're not unlimited. So reach out to me if you have any questions. Is there a reminder function for save or letter submissions? No, we don't have that yet, but I would say definitely a good ask. Could this possibly be connected to sessions? It has a calendar built in. Paula, send across the details. We'll see if we can do that. When the LTD deal will end, Charlie will be the best person to answer that. How do you get the LTD link to purchase? I think can we use gated content to generate links? I think yeah, we answered that. Can I replace my Gravity Forms license with a MakeForms workspace? It does not have workspace. We have web forms per client from our account, and clients see their form responses. I want to do this, but have a branded form URL, so our branding is on all the leads. Wondering, can I create unique web forms from workspace? And I would say create workspaces for individual clients. That's the best way. What about forms mapped to PDF files? This is on the roadmap. I would say we were aiming for Q3 2023, but I doubt we don't have that much time left. So this will, based on the forms, your entire PDF files will be created. So for that, we are building a PDF editor and possibly a digital signature also. So that literally replaces your DocuSign and a form tool. So that's definitely on the roadmap for the end of this year. If we add a second account so that we have GDPR and HIPAA, can we use the, as I said, buy two LTDs, one LTD stays in your EU region, the another in the US region. So you have, for people who need HIPAA, you go for with the US account, create a workspace there. For people who with the GDPR, you create them on EU. Can you share how the upcoming integration might look? Okay, this is an interesting question. So what we are doing is we are giving you 2 to 3 different options. Number one, you can create a calculated field. So the users will put the numbers, the amount will be calculated, then they can use that calculated amount as the checkout, like the amount. The second option is you can just enter the amount that you want to, take from the user. The third option is that you will be able to create the third option, which is definitely not coming this year, but the next year, is you will be able to create kind of products. Then will tutorials be made available via YouTube or your website? We already have a YouTube channel for MakeForms. You can just check it out. For clarification on the showing multiple thank you pages, looking to be able to redirect user to, okay. Yeah, so in the thank you page, you have an option where you can just turn this off. The moment you turn this off, you can just redirect to your website. Then with the agency tier, we can connect a different open API key for each. Yeah, so you can literally have different open API key for every form. So this answers, will the PDF form conversion and e-signature be included? Yeah, this is included. Going back to replace gravity forms, as I don't want multiple, can we create unique forms per client and specify the form submissions info recipients? So you will have to add multiple clients to the workspace. Then you go into the form, you select the form settings, you select the email that you want to send these to, but you will always receive the notification. You cannot remove yourself from the notification. I think with that, okay, can you show use case of mobile app experience research form template? I think I'm not going to take this. Can you redirect to multiple sites or London Graves based on score? No, that's not possible yet. Oh, let me see in the quiz builder that we had. No, so we don't have the quiz score as one of the inputs, but again, as I said, a really good use case. So we might take it up. Landing pages, yeah, we might get into that sometime next year. I might have missed this answer to the question, but can you repeat the answer? Will the PDF form conversion and yes, so PDF form conversion and so digital, so we need to understand digital signatures and e-signatures are two different things. E-signature is included, digital signatures won't be included. Digital signatures will be used as an add-on. PDF forms will be, yes, they will be part of the entity. It will be continued. I think with that, I've answered all the questions.
That was great, man. Thank you so much. Went through a nice little sprint there.
Yep.
I think we got everybody. If there are, even 5-10 questions that are unanswered, just note that we have the list, and what we'll do is over the course of this deal, we will, especially this week, we will try to bang out all those questions because I know some of you are waiting to buy. But if after this webinar you are not convinced, you never will be. So yeah, this is as good as it gets. If you found another Forms app that can even do 50% of this, good for you, but I have not seen it, and I do this for a living.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I think it was great. It will go down as one of the big, best webinars, even
Yeah.
best than Hormozy did.
Yeah.
Because it's so there's something productive over here. Thanks everyone for attending, and thanks again, Pratik, for your time. It's time to go home for you.
Yeah.
We had you got in your office. So thank you so much. And again, everyone, it's time for you to go ahead and buy. Two people already bought on the call. So go ahead. The code is expiring in 5 days. So go ahead. Okay, great. Okay, we are seeing some positive response. Thank you so much, folks. You're great. So go ahead,
Yep.
grab your license and use MakeForms to the best of the capabilities. All right. So there's
And,
more to
and
come.
yeah, and while I, like I live, I really want to share something pretty quick. So we have this thing called Babelbox. So I did make a promise on Facebook. So this literally changes the way you have people fill the form. So let's say this is asking me for my full name. I'd say, haha. Okay. So it will convince me and it will say, nice try, but what's your full name? I'd just type Pratik. It will tell me, Pratik got it, but I need your full name, including your last name, please.
This is amazing.
Pratik J. And now it said, okay, do you mind me asking what's your email? So I'd say, yeah. And then it also added a cat emoji. So I'd say, okay, Pratik at MakeStories.io. So, okay, can I ask where your day job is? I'd say, okay, this is where my office is. I'd say Thane. So, oops, I mean the name of the company, not the location. So I would say, I work for myself. Can you share with me your role at your company? I'd say, let's say, fine. Let's not play with it more. Okay, do tell me, how do you plan to use Babelbox? I'll say SQL as and I'm gonna do it like an Indian, very like Baba, which is like an Indian thing for our dog box. So then it understands this, like that you in India, like in Hindi, you say bhau bhau for a dog's. So it's doing this and then say, okay, I'd say, okay, I will use it for company survey. Okay, I'd say, how much would you be willing to pay? I'd say 50,000 rupees. So it will tell me, oops, I need the amount in EMS, not in rupees. How much? 50K. Convert it yourself. So, but it's still persistent. So I'd say, okay, I would do like $100. Thank you. So now, if we reach $100,000 in sales, I am going to make Babelbox for everyone who buys this LTD. That's my word. I'm giving it right now.
Nice. That's amazing. Thank you
That's
for that.
all documented. But we gotta reach 100,000 in sales, in total sales. That's
All
my
right. Well,
and
I'm not
within
sleeping on weekend now.
within
yeah.
next one and a
Yeah.
half month, I'm gonna so I was always going to have Babelbox as a separate product, but it's like too stressing for us to like create multiple brands and create confusion.
Mhm.
So we have found a way to do this. So yeah, now it's up to everyone to actually take this to the moon.
All
All
right,
right.
folks.
Rocket
So
Hub.
it's
There you go.
Rocket
Let's make
Hub.
it happen.
Yep. So everyone, I think whoever has purchased, it's time for you to open your communities and groups wherever you are and paste and publish about this deal so everyone knows.
Yep. I think we can do it. I'm
Yep.
very confident we can do it with a tool like this. You got to be nuts not to buy it, or you got to be nuts not to even get the agency. Like you got to be nuts. So thank you for that, Pratik. I'm sure the community appreciates that, and for everybody that is on the call and those who are going to watch afterwards, thanks for your support. We're doing our best to bring the best deals, but when you have guys like Pratik and his team, Deepak and the rest of the product team, I'm telling you, you will like not find a better product than this.